Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, and in today's video, per usual, we are going to be doing another stimulus update for the first stimulus checks for those on different Social Security benefits, such as survivors, retirement and disability, SSI, as well as an update for veterans and railroad retirees. Now, before I get into this video, per usual, if you wouldn't mind real quickly just hitting that like button below, giving me a big thumbs up, it really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. In addition to that, if you wouldn't mind real quickly, just comment in the comment section below, letting me and others know whether or not you received your first stimulus payment yet or not. It really just creates a good conversation and kind of gives me an ability to assess the situation and see how many people have gotten paid and how many people still haven't gotten paid. I know there's lots of you guys out there that still haven't gotten paid your first stimulus check. I know it's really sad. Here we are in mid-June and there's still millions of people who haven't received their first stimulus payment. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the IRS, but it's kind of sad to see so many people waiting. But hopefully they get more and more out each week and we should begin to see more and more people receive their stimulus payments. So if you haven't received it, hang in there. It's definitely coming soon. All right, so per usual, in this video, I'm going to start this video out by answering some of the questions that I received in my previous video. And if you have any other questions than the ones that I answer in this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And I do try to answer as many comments and questions as I possibly can. And those comments and questions that I'm not able to get to, I do try to answer some of the best ones and some of the ones that I find to be the most helpful in the next video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first comment of today's video, and that is from Eric. Eric says, "Hey Josh, per our last conversation in the comment section, you said that I did qualify, just wait and I should get a date. I checked the website on Sunday and I did receive a payment date of June 12th, 2020. Thank you so much. Let your other viewers know to hang in there and stay positive." And that's a great comment. I just wanted to start out this video with someone that's finally receiving their payment date. This is someone who's waited a long time, continued checking the payment portal. He and I both knew that he was eligible for the stimulus payment, but he wasn't receiving anything. He continued seeing payment status not available day after day. This is a case of someone who waited such a long period of time and he's finally receiving a date of Friday, June 12th. So I'm so happy for you, Eric. And for you guys that still haven't received a payment date, hang in there. Like I said before, your date is definitely coming soon. And I would also expect some other people to receive a payment date of June 12th. So if you also received a payment date of June 12th, let me know in the comment section below. And I know some people should be getting paid today on the 10th as well. All right, so the next question today is from Rusty. Rusty says, "Hi, maybe you have some insight. I'm a Social Security recipient living abroad. SSA does a direct deposit every month to my Philippines bank account through New York Bank of Milan. I don't file taxes, not required to. No child support and still haven't received anything. Do you have any ideas?" Okay, Rusty, thank you so much for that question. And unfortunately, with these stimulus payments, the IRS does have troubles directly depositing the funds into a foreign bank account. Now, since you did mention that you have a bank account that's the New York Bank of Milan, I did see that's actually an international bank account, and they actually do have bank locations within the United States. So I'm thinking in your case, it may not be such an issue since it's not just a Philippines-based bank. They actually have locations within the US, so perhaps it could be considered a US-based bank account, and I wouldn't think they should have troubles depositing into your account. Now, if you just had a regular Philippines-based bank account where they didn't actually have locations within the US, or for anyone else that lives abroad and you have an international bank account, a foreign bank account that's not based within the United States, unfortunately, in those cases, the IRS would not be able to directly deposit the funds into that account. For whatever reason, the IRS is not able to directly deposit the stimulus payment into a foreign bank account. So in those cases, what they'll actually do is just end up mailing a check, which is unfortunate because it will take much longer to mail a check than it would just to simply directly deposit the funds into a bank account. All right, so the next question today is from Julie. Julie says, "Hi, my name is Julie from Hawaii. My daughter never received her first stimulus package. What can I do? She filed her taxes this year. She's 18 years old." All right, Julie, thank you so much for that question. And since your daughter is 18 years of age, I'm assuming she would have been eligible to be claimed as a dependent. And since she would have been eligible to be claimed as a dependent, then unfortunately she would not be eligible for a stimulus payment. And since she's not under the age of 17, you would not be eligible to receive the additional $500 either. Now, if she happens to live on her own and she provides more than half of her support and she would not be able to be claimed as a dependent, then she would be eligible for a stimulus payment and she should receive the $1,200. Now, what I would recommend for her to do if that's the case, she should just continue to check the Get My Payment portal. Since you mentioned that the IRS just processed her tax returns for this year, there may be a slight delay in the IRS processing her tax returns. And once they process her tax returns, at that point, she should receive her stimulus payment. But in the meantime, I would recommend for her to just continue checking the payment portal on a daily basis, and she should eventually receive a date. Okay, so the next question today is from Sarah. Sarah says, "Hi Josh, why was I told that since we claimed my son in 2018, he is not going to get a check? We did not claim him in 2019. He is on SSDI." Okay, Sarah, thank you so much for that question. So if you claim your son as a dependent on your 2018 year taxes, but you did not claim him as a dependent on your 2019 year taxes, then he should be eligible to receive a stimulus payment if he is not eligible to be claimed as a dependent. This is because the IRS bases these stimulus payments on the most recent tax return, and since 2018 is the most recent tax return in your case, and you didn't claim him as a dependent, then he would all of a sudden become eligible for the stimulus payment as long as he couldn't be claimed as a dependent. This, of course, also means that your son must also be living on his own. He must be providing more than half of his support throughout the year, and basically all the requirements needed to not be claimed as a dependent. All right, so the next question today is from Ronnie. Ronnie says, "Are we getting a second stimulus check?" Okay, Ronnie, thank you so much for that question. And unfortunately, there is no second stimulus check yet. There is something called the HEROES Act, which would set up to be another round of $1,200 payouts, and that has passed the House of Representatives lately. But it's pretty well known that the Senate is opposed to the bill. President Trump did come out and say lately that he does want to see another round of stimulus payments for the American people. So that is pretty good news. So we at least know the president is on board with another round of stimulus payments. But as of right now, there's no guarantees. We will have to see some revisions in the current bill for the HEROES Act. And then if we see some revisions, then it's possible we might see a second round of stimulus payments. But really, quite frankly, there is nothing guaranteed yet. All right, so the next question today is from Teresa. Teresa says, "No payment yet. I started getting disability in January of 2020. I have done the enter my info already. I'm concerned because I haven't filed taxes since 2012. I did have a few jobs scattered in those years, but didn't make much money. I'm worried that this is holding my check up." All right, Teresa, thank you so much for that question. And since you didn't file a 2018 or 2019 year tax return, since you mentioned that your last tax return was filed in the year of 2012, you would be required to fill out the non-filers tool in order to be eligible for your stimulus payment. Now, in your question, you did mention that you filled out something, and if that something was the non-filers tool, then you did exactly what you needed to do, and you should definitely receive your stimulus payment as long as you weren't claimed as a dependent on anyone else's tax return, and as long as you don't have something like past due child support that could potentially offset the stimulus payment. All right, so the next question today is from April. April says, "My husband hasn't received his payment yet. The Get My Payment still says not enough information for direct payment, and it's been that way for a month. Do you have any ideas?" All right, April, thank you so much for that question. And unfortunately, the Get My Payment portal tool has been a complete disaster and a complete nightmare for many, many people. What you're seeing is a payment status not available page, and there's lots and lots of people who are receiving that page. Unfortunately, all that means for most people is that the IRS has just not scheduled a delivery date. So for your husband, most likely it is the same thing. One trick that you could try is to try to type your physical street address in all capital letters in the Get My Payment portal. Sometimes that can help fix the issue where all of a sudden you will be getting a payment date. Another trick that you could try is abbreviating your street address. So if you live on 123 Main Drive, instead of typing out Drive, D-R-I-V-E, you can abbreviate for Drive, D-R, or abbreviate for Lane, L-N, etc. And that could be another thing. If you try abbreviating and you try capitalizing your street address and you're still getting payment status not available, that simply means the IRS has just not scheduled a delivery date, and unfortunately you'll just have to keep checking that page and they will eventually update. There's nothing you can do. You've done everything you can possibly do on your part. And as long as he's not being claimed as a dependent on anyone else's tax return, and as long as he doesn't have something like past due child support that could potentially offset his stimulus payment, he will definitely receive a stimulus payment. They're just taking a long time. So hang in there, try not to get too frustrated. He will definitely eventually receive a date. Alright, so that wraps up all the comments and questions in today's video. Like I said before, if you do have any other comments or questions for me, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I will try to get to as many questions and comments as I possibly can. And the comments and questions that I'm unable to get to, I will try to answer in the next video in video form. Now, as far as payment dates go, there should be some of you guys getting paid today on June 10th. And as I mentioned in one of the earlier comments from Eric is receiving a payment on Friday, June 12th. So if you haven't been checking the payment portal, you might consider doing so. Let me know in the comment section below today if you do check the payment portal to see if you also have a payment date of June 12th. Now, one other thing, since many people are receiving payments on June 10th and June 12th, you may want to consider checking your bank accounts or your direct express cards on those 2 days, just because even though it has been rare, some people never see the payment portal update. It never shows them a date. It keeps saying payment status not available, but then they'll go check their bank account and they'll see a payment there. So it might be something you might want to do, even though the payment portal isn't updating. Even though it's rare, sometimes you may even still receive a direct deposit. Okay, so now at this point, I just want to talk about some of the resources that we have at our disposal to use to track our stimulus payment. So the number one resource, in my opinion at least, even though the payment portal has been a complete disaster and a complete pain in the neck, that is still our number one resource and the number one resource we should go to. I know it's giving us payment status not available, but at some point, it's definitely going to give a date for 99% of us. Another resource is that you could try calling the IRS at 1-800-919-9835 number. That is their official EIP hotline. However, I would expect to wait in line for at least 1 to 3 hours. And really, in my opinion, I think they're probably more so just going off the payment portal. I don't think there's a whole lot more information that they can give you that you can't already find out yourself through the Get My Payment portal. However, I would say their number one resource, rather than calling them and you won't have to wait and hold for 1 to 3 hours, is that Q&A on the IRS website. It has some very basic questions and answers and then some more advanced ones as well. In fact, a lot of the questions that I see on the IRS website, I see in the comments section below in my video. So that might be a resource you could consider checking. And of course, if you just have any questions for me, I do try to answer as many comments and questions that I possibly can. So I'm more than happy to help you out if you have any questions and you just want to leave it in the comment section below. I will try to get to your question and help you out in the best way that I can. And if you do have any questions for me, just leave as much information as possible. So if you're on SSI, let me know if you receive your benefits before the year of 2020, because if you started receiving your benefits in 2020, then you would be required to fill out the non-filers tool in order to receive your stimulus payment. And also let me know if you were claimed as a dependent or if you think you may have been claimed as a dependent, because that would also make you ineligible for a stimulus payment. And also let me know if you think that you may have past due child support that could potentially also offset your stimulus payment. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this one and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. At the moment, I am posting daily stimulus payment updates, so hopefully that can be helpful to you. And until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.